biography of Steve Jobs. People that I admire, Henry Kissinger. I did Benjamin Franklin, he's a founding father of America, Thomas Jefferson, and so I just kept reading the seerah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And people insulting me, attacking me, it doesn't affect me. I'm not bothered. So long as my conscience is clear. Sometimes I go to Facebook, I write things, I do the whole country will be angry with me, but I will say it. I have two principles. I'm not an angel, but I want to break the law of God and the law of the country. So long as those laws are not broken, I don't care. I will say what I want to say. And that's the whole concept of can't cage me and kind of so. I say what I want to say.
I'm into fintech, and this is why I don't show face, and I do it at the back. So we do a lot. So I'm following you, and I love you because you are very straightforward.
But education is beyond just going to school and getting certificates. Well, I am still a student. I'm still reading. Between the beach and this, I was sitting down here. I was reading. You need to read.
Secondly, we also understood that being a leader and being a follower involves a lot of critics. And then, being someone who have been following you in Facebook, we have seen how sometimes your critics have been attacking you, and yet you still maintain that composure and still, maintaining the momentum. How or what did you still have for those who are serving as followers at the moment and aspiring to be leaders in the future to maintain the same momentum that you have been using? Because we understand that not everybody can be a leader that can handle certain critics. And also, I want also you also to table how should followers also should paint their critics towards their leaders. Because not all critics are genuine. And I believe as Gambians, we should criticize our leaders based on talent. What are some of the critics that we expect the youth should be criticizing their leaders for so long Gambia is concerned? Thank you.
No, I didn't ask you to stand up. Iga has acknowledged you. You were not here, but he said you are the very Secretary General. So please clap for him. He was not here when they are recognizing him. So let's recognize him now. So I was just gonna say my lawyer, because he's a lawyer. I wanna excite him. My lawyer is Antuman Gay, was defending me against Ghana's crimes charges against me. When a prosecutor asks multiple questions like this, he calls it an omnibus question. And he objects to it. So I think he asked me an omnibus question. So what should I do? The judge has ruled. Ask the court, please. On reading. Look, I'm not the kind of person who pretends about certain things. Like, I don't think I'm the greatest reader in this country. Maybe I'm not even, I don't see myself being much above average in terms of how much I read. Because if you know literate cultures, the rate at which young people read in those cultures, man, even my daughter Khadija, the books Khadija is reading at this age, I never read those books. I can book as thick as this. I've never done it. But gradually I realized that it is important. People have different inclinations. Maybe you are better at reading, somebody else is better at listening to audiobooks or watching movies. But I think reading is a quality that everybody should develop. Whether it comes to you naturally, and mostly it's girls who like reading, boys are doing something. Please read, I swear, read. The first verse of the Quran is Quran. Read. It's not by accident. The whole Christian culture is on the Logos. What's that? The word. You need to read. It doesn't have to be biographies, whatever, just read. I did an essay, I think it was 2004, letter to my son, on reading. That's my first son, Mohammed. And I published the essay in one of my books. And I think Mohammed really literally took that. He's doing graduate studies now. When he sent me his thesis at undergrad, the material was so thick I could not read it. And I was happy that I was able to encourage my son to be a reader. It's never too late. What I did, I think it was even after my first degree, was to get mainly into biography. Albert Einstein, the biography of Steve Jobs. People that I admire, Henry Kissinger. I did Benjamin Franklin, he's a founding father of America, Thomas Jefferson, and so I just kept reading the seerah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And incidentally, we are in the Gamma era. Please go get a biography of the Prophet, and it's much easier for you now. Back then, you had to go to a physical library, otherwise you don't have access to a book. Now you can go online and download these books. You have e-books. Read, read, read. That is my advice. I used to say this. Khalifa Saleh, one of the most solid intellectuals in this country. He doesn't even have a PhD. But what Khalifa reads. So you want to be a leader, you have to read. I think that I cannot emphasize that, regardless of your field. If you find it difficult if reading does not come to you naturally, look for a subject that interests you and read in that field. But wallahi, my advice to any young person, read. You want to be a writer, a good writer, be a good reader first. I see people claiming to be poets, wallahi, they are not poets. Not all of them, some of them. But you can't tell me you're a poet, you've never read even Shakespeare, one poem from Shakespeare. You're not serious, man. Go and read how great poets write. I'm not saying you should copy them, but you have a great good idea of what a good poem is. It is important. Reading, I can emphasize. So on leadership and followership and these criticisms. So there's this saying that you guys came up, not too young to lead. After 2017, when Jamia was here, nobody wanted to lead. But when Jamia, when everybody believed you can lead, not too young to lead. No, lead. That's what he's saying. They know it. The leadership movement, not too young to lead, but the young people should lead. We should not be the leaders of tomorrow, we should be leaders of today. What do you know? So for me, that slogan should have not too young to read. R-E-A-D. Read first before you can lead. Great leaders are always great readers. It is a truism. You can Google it now, you will see people have done speeches about that. So you need to read and grow up and follow leaders. So you're talking of my patience and how I allow people insult me on my Facebook. Yeah. Sometimes I just ignore them, sometimes I just laugh. Sometimes when they ignore me and make a grammatical error, I go after the error and please correct the grammar. Standards here. But it did not come overnight. And that's why I say people should be good followers first. I was under Jame, I worked with him, I studied him. When I was in UDP, I was under Dabo, I studied him. And I found out he was very patient guy. Very patient and very accommodating. As a person. Now I'm working with President Barrow, I see the amount of insults attached on him. Just let them be. It doesn't even affect his personal comportment. So as a follower, I have learned some skills from somebody, and that's why it's important to be a follower first. Because as a young person, usually, you can be very reactive. So you don't want to go to a position where you're leading people and you want to react to everything, and it can be dangerous because if you get to certain levels of leadership, you have certain powers and you want to react to everything. Honestly, I believe that's what happened to Jame. He overreacted to certain situations and certain individuals, and some people lost their lives. But at what age did Jame become a leader? I believe he was too young. So we need to be followers first and learn from the people we are following. Again, regarding that whole thing. So I've come to a level where people insulting me, attacking me, it doesn't affect me. I'm not bothered. So long as my conscience is clear. Sometimes I go to Facebook, I write things, I do the whole country will be angry with me, but I will say it. I have two principles. I'm not an angel, but I want to break the law of God and the law of the country. So long as those laws are not broken, I don't care. I will say what I want to say, and that's the whole concept of can't cage me and kind of song. I say what I want to say. So the other part, followers and leaders. And I think this is why sometimes we can follow people. Leaders are not angels, they are human beings. And no human beings are perfect. Here they'll say, okay, I cannot follow Khalifa Saleh because Khalifa today saw Gesna, Khalifa Lee, Khalifa is not perfect. I cannot follow Adam Barrow because Adam Barrow is not perfect, he's going to make mistakes. But man, no one gonna jahal. Especially young Gambians, you don't want to follow anybody among these political leaders. They are all not good enough. Across the border, we are following people with bigger and deeper flaws. You know, flaw, I mean deeper imperfections. But you think those people are angels because they are far away from you. What's the problem? They're human beings. Even our imam, sometimes I see somebody come and attack an imam. Say, the imam is not an angel, he makes mistakes. But that doesn't mean that if your imam or your political party leader or your president makes one mistake, you should condemn him and go and set up your own political party. You weaken this party and your for. If the president was going at 100 meters per hour, because I disagree with one or two things about president, maybe the president will slow to about 90 meters per hour, right? I go set up my own political party. I'm not satisfied with him at 100 meters per hour. Me, I cannot even do 10 meters per hour. How does the country move forward? I mean, I wish I could go into further detail in this subject, but we don't have time. And because of the position I occupy, I need to be politically correct a little bit. But those leaders you are clapping for outside, they are not better than the ones we have here. I can tell you that for free.
All right. Good evening, sir, and thank you so much for giving us your time coming here. It's not easy based on who you are. I've been following you for more than maybe 15 years.
That's a lot.
Half of my life.
I'm not that old.
And out of these 15 years, I have come in contact maybe many times because I'm not into politics, but I work with politicians. And this is where people don't understand who I am. The reason is because I do a lot of contract work. I develop a lot of stuff in this country, but it's coded. I call it coded. I'm into fintech, and this is why I don't show face, and I do it at the back. So we do a lot. So I'm following you, and I love you because you are very straightforward. I'm not speaking this because of you. You're here, and people that knows me knows very well that this is a crazy guy. They don't know why am I following these controversial people. Yes. They say, okay, maybe because you are a computer scientist and you are a manipulator, and that's why you think that you follow this person. So what happened is that I studied you. It's like you are a program to me because I've studied you very well. And the reason why I came to Leadership Academy, Sabally Leadership Academy, is because, not because it's for adults. No, I don't think it's for adults. I think it should be for 3 years old. The people who can change their mindset when we can. Because when they get up to this age, it's difficult to convince because they have been, their mind is diluted with something like politics or social activities. So for me, I don't see you as a politician. I see you as somebody who is very straightforward, and that is why you hit it to the point every time, and you confuse a lot of people with this. And this is very good because that's your key tactics. So my question is, first of all, is to compliment you for everything that you have done.
As a guest.
Yeah. So how do you want to advance SLA? Number one, maybe it's not from you. Maybe it should be from the management or administration. But I don't know what is the vision. But I want to know the vision. And what I know, why I came here is because of the educational value that it gives. I'm an educator. I have a school. How can we transform the little 3-year-old to think just like Sabally? Not the Sabally politician, but Sabally of the social, cultural, straightforward guy. And then we transform it into a school. It has to be a school that teaches or brings out the best leaders.
Thank you for your compliments. Essentially, like I said, an example, just like this slogan the youth are having. I don't have any big plan to make it popular. I just said to make it popular. So there's no grand dream. Some people think it's political. No. A lot of things I do by inspiration. And like I told you at the time, I thought I was going to be an economist, one of the finest in the world. That was my path. Later I found out God wanted me to do something else. I had to get into politics. And I think that's the best thing I can do for this country right now. Of course, in my own way, I'm a bit multifaceted because sometimes some people think I'm a Hafiz Quran, which I'm not. But I love my Quran. Sometimes they think I'm a Bible student, but I love my Bible too. Sometimes I'm in the communities and stuff. But when it comes to this, like Jay said in the morning, I've written books trying to inspire people to be able to achieve their potential. Because I believe every single one of you is gifted, talented, and you could be as big as any great person in the world. But in the West, They had a lot of motivational leadership. It's a whole move. It's a whole industry in this. It's $1 billion industry or even more. What I'm doing for you here, if I'm doing it in America, they'll pay me thousands of dollars, literally. And those doing it there, they don't know it better than me. They don't know the stuff better than me, and they don't speak this language better than me. Yes. But I found that this country was missing that. When I published Instant Success, it was 2006, I was in the US doing my master's. I had an interview on the BBC. A Gambia. It's very funny. A Gambian heard that interview. He called me, he said, Sabally, when I heard your interview, I cried. I said, why? He said, in the country I studied, that country is one of the greatest countries in the world. He said that we sit down in their classes, we beat them in the exam, we come back home, our country is not moving, those their countries are flying. He said, I believe this kind of philosophy, this kind of is what is missing in our education. That's what he told me. So I know that our educational curriculum does not cover this kind of soft skills that prepare people to be the greatest scientists, to be the greatest politicians, to be the greatest whatever. So I decided to do it on my own, and I'm happy now that there are many leadership academies, they all copied it from this, even though they don't want to give credit. It's okay. All I wanted is to bring into the country something that will benefit the people. It's not my main career. I could have made it a career. But what I want is to spread the word, and like, when we started SLA, it was just a motivational night thing. The participants like you are the ones who took it to the next level with the summer camps. So like you said, the question is not for me, it's for everybody. How do we move this to the next level so that we have more and more people benefit from this kind of information, philosophy, material quality? Because you need this to fully unearth your potential. You can call me a mathematician, I have a degree in mathematics. You can call me an economist, I have a degree and a 10-year solid career as an economist. You can call me an author because I am an author. You can call me a politician because I am a politician. You can call me an imam because I've led prayers in mosques. But by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's because early on I found out that I could be many things and I could be successful in many things. But I read books, I listened to lectures, I listened to sermons. So that is what I want, because I believe there are people here who are more gifted than me, smarter than me, and they could be greater than me, but they will never ever reach their potential if they don't have access to this kind of information and training. So for me, it's the intention I am doing what I am doing, because ironically, that Gambian who was crying, telling me this is what we need, became an obstacle in one of our programs. Deliberately said, no, it's not going to happen. I was shocked. That's an easy way to be there. But if you have a vision, you have faith, you are persistent, those stepping stones, those obstacles, they turn into stepping stones. To climb those mountains, to reach the promised land. It can't always be done, especially, for me, if I am moving at 10 kilometers per hour, and I'm relaxed, and I know I'm getting to Windu. If somebody tells somebody cannot get to where I've increased that 10 to 100. That's all
The question is about generally like our educational system, like from nursery to university. Like in Gambia here, all of us in this 2 years, like our educational system is poor. It needs to be changed. Everybody, most of us complaining. Like you as the, let me say, as a leader right now, or youth leaders, what do you think about those thinkings or those criticisms happening all over everywhere? Like, if you are to change, the educational system, what will you bring on, for the future leaders of the youths?
Nature, nurture, dichotomy. That things happen by nature or things are nurtured.
Yeah.
So, I am more inclined to believe that leaders are born.
Yeah.
I'm more inclined to believe that. But knowing the capacity of the human mind, and that's actually the whole purpose of this philosophy, these seminars, there's no limit to what a human being can do. The brain and the mind that Allah has given us. I believe you can also train yourself to become a leader. That's a verse in the Quran, Surah Sajda, that I find very interesting. It has something to do with leadership. And Allah is talking about Prophet Moses, one of the greatest leaders of all time. I said, وَجَعَلْنَا مِنْهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا لَمَّا صَبَرُوا. God said He took some of them and made them leaders after they had become patient for a long time. The key word there is patience. If you are not a patient person, please don't try it. You can be.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Steve. So this would be fast. To be specific, if there was any time in your life that you could consider as a setback, what would it be?
You mean setbacks?
Yeah.
With S?
No.
It's actually setbacks.
So let's make it specific to say throughout from January to this month.
That's too short.
That's the, okay, last year.
I think I have a good idea of what your question is. I think if you're still with me, I've had so many setbacks in my life. And I believe that if anybody is going to be great at anything, you will have those things. You will have disappointments, you will have betrayals, you will have all sorts of things in your life. I told you I was given a job that I didn't ask for. Secretary General Minister of Presidential Affairs, I was fired, that's a setback. To be fired is just bad enough, and I was taken to jail, that's a setback. But it did not break me.
Okay. If I could remember well, 5 years back, you came to my school and it was in a form of seminar like this, and then you sensitized us about writing
And I gave you books.
Books, yeah.
To do what?
To read them. Apart from giving books, what else?
So if you follow me on Facebook, you'll see me holding a book reading. That's partly sensitization. I have a Bible or the Quran or some other book. It's partly sensitization. I have no business taking certain pictures to put it out there, but I'm trying to send a message with you because I know I'm followed by hundreds of thousands of people. Even those who hate me, they follow me. Sometimes I ask me, why are you following me if you think I'm so bad? But like I told you, I believe in reading. I've been writing essays about reading. I've been going to schools like our school. My son's school, I think when he was at daycare, I used to go to his school to teach them, to give my books to them. I've done lectures on reading. And I can tell you, man, I'm on it every day. Even today I ask you to read. But she's an author, by the way. That's why I am author. So sometimes what I do, because look, I'm not a Superman, man. I have a wife, I have children, man. I'm busy. I have to put money on the table. I need to pay school fees. So I can't live my whole life on voluntary service. So sometimes what I do, I approach it in a smart way. Sometimes I don't have to organize my own, but if she organizes a program, I feel, okay, let me go and support her so that she can also influence. So I've done that quite a lot to Kartong. Where is the professor of the poet? Where is he? Yeah, I went to his school 5 years ago. A village in the middle of nowhere. Sorry, I hope you don't feel bad. It's a very important village. That's where Hamad Bak comes from, your lands minister. But they invited me for a primary school graduation at my own cost. I drove up to there, spoke to them, gave them books. Now he's one of the finest young intellectuals at that level. It's a Nusra. You should clap for him. He's a poet.
And I do Banjulin Senior Secondary School. You came there our graduation.
Sandu Kuonku, they invited me there. For an event at 10 a.m. I'm walking up in my house at 5. My wife is very patient. You should clap for her. I leave my family there just to go and spread these messages. And it's because I know what education and the ability of to read has done for me. My father and mother don't know A from B, but they put me on the path of education. But education is beyond just going to school and getting certificates. Well, I'm still a student, I'm still reading. Between the beach and this, I was sitting down here, I was reading. You need to read. We're doing it. If you create your platforms, if I have time, I will support.
We don't have time. Huh? We don't have time. I think that's only. I mean, we are only running out the same things.